Hello guys, have you seen from this title of the video, we have a 2025 F-150. Right now we have a Whipple on it. And today we're gonna start putting a Fore Innovation dual fuel pump system on it. So I'm just gonna show how I'm gonna wire it and run all these fuel lines. I have not seen any videos or pictures on exactly how this is set up, but this is how I set this one up. These are going to be for the level sensors. Here we have the feed and the return. I have both these wired through here. I've seen a little bit on this on their video. Fore Innovation has a video on this 2025 F-150, how they installed the fuel pump. No wiring, no running the fuel lines, nothing. So this is how I'm gonna do it. This is the big nipple here. This one here, you will reuse this line. This has two connectors. This line will run through to the charcoal canister, plug back in the old spot. This one here, I will show in a minute. This one is a smaller nipple. This one will be for the vent, for when you fill up your gas tank. Before I install this gas tank, I already mounted the two lines on here, so I don't have to worry about these. I didn't cut anything, so they're both hooked up together. So it makes it easier for when the fuel tank's sitting on the car. I can cut it and hook the rest up. Now on the fueling side, the gauges, the packaging says thread sealant required. For the fuel pump, it also said that. And we're using here thread sealant, high performance. It's like a paste. It's not one of those Teflon tapes. So I'm gonna go over the wiring real quick and how I'm gonna run it. So here is the email you guys are gonna receive. So you have this fuel pump controller here. First you got the power. Here you both got these two remotes. We're gonna use both of these. We have the chassis ground. We're gonna use these pumps here, 1 and 2. Because we got the dual pump setup. For remote 1, we're going to be using the wire, 12-volt wire, which is originally connected to the fuel pump for the stock system. So we're going to cut that, we're going to strip it, and we're going to extend it over into the remote 1. We're going to run this through the cab. Along with that, we're gonna use one of these wires here for remote 1 as well. And then the other wire is gonna be on remote 2. This is pretty much an on-off switch. This is a vacuum switch. So at a certain amount of boost you hit, this is gonna flip open. It's gonna trigger the remote 2. It's gonna turn on the second fuel pump. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. You're gonna have a 4-pin connector here, originally connected to the stock fuel pump. It was for the level sensor and the power. You will want to take that and cut all 4 wires. You're gonna use the 2 small ones. These are gonna be for the leveling sensor. You're gonna crimp the supply pins on here. Those are gonna connect to the new fuel pump. And then the other 2 wires, you don't need those anymore. I have them wrapped up in here, electrical tape. Now for the remote 1 that you're gonna wire through the cab is up here. This is where your original fuel module is. You're gonna unplug the cable. And we used the old wire schematic for the 2024 F-150, a little bit different, but same setup. You're gonna want to cut the blue with the white stripe This is your power, your remote on and off. So before we were connected to this one here, the main power. This one directly from the relay and the fuse and everything, but this keeps killing the batteries, so this is not the right one. We're gonna go off. We're gonna splice this one back into the connector, so it's back to the original fuel pump module, and we're gonna go off this one here, yellow and gray. Again, this is for the older model, but they don't have the wiring out for the newer model yet. But this is pretty much the same one here, this one here. So we're gonna go off the yellow and gray one, which we saw on the connector itself, pin 6. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So we have the main power back hooked up to the module. We went ahead and used the yellow and gray with the tracer for the remote for the new fuel pump control. Now, Fore Innovation did not supply us with wiring to run that cable, so we're gonna use our own little wire here. So we got that remote wire here, cut but connected, heat shrinked. We're gonna run this along here, the brake lines, and up here we're gonna go up in front of the bed and behind the cabin, and up there's a grommet. We're gonna use that to enter the cabin. As I was saying earlier, smaller nipple is gonna be on the driver's side here. It's gonna screw in here. And the bigger one is the one that's got the 2 sensors. You're gonna wanna reuse those. And that's gonna plug in, that's gonna hook up to the charcoal canister back here. It is the next day, and we got the tank up in there. Everything's plugged in. The 2 straps are tied down. This is what I did. So the remote for the new fuel pump controller, I got this nicely zip tied with the motor wire, and the fuel lines. We're gonna run both of these. I left the old fuel lines in the truck. We're gonna run the new fuel lines along this, zip tie them down, up over the transmission as you see over here, and up into the engine bay. So once you got this wire pulled, you wanna get here into the cab. You're gonna have this trim here. I'm gonna pop this one off here. And this one here is a grommet. You will want to make a small insert in the grommet that you remove. Slide this all the way back to block that hole off. So for protection, I went ahead and threw some duct tape over that. So it was really useful. I used the pry bar I got up underneath there, and I was able to stick it on there, so we will have no water problems at all. This is how I'm gonna run the power wire, the main power for the fuel pump control module. So I ran it through the boot right under the driver's side, right through there. And I'm running the same way as we have our other power wire up under there. They're all nice and zip tied. And this one here, I'm gonna hook up here on the fuse. So you wanna remove your cover here, original cover here, pop this off. We're gonna get the power off this one here. 12 volt straight from the battery. I have everything hooked up. Like I said, I got the power up here on the positive on the fuse block. Also, you want to make sure you cut this section out. It's not the neatest, but it'll do. Cut that section out. Now it clips in just like that. I have the power looped around here. We got the fuse mounted on the battery holder. Threw some screws on there too. Then I ran the power behind the battery holder through here. Got it zip tied all the way across. And now over here, I actually did not have enough room to run this power wire through the grommet that we use for the sub wire. So I actually drilled a separate hole through the firewall. Through here, separate hole. We're gonna zip tie that and run it along here. I already got this. Also, make sure you run the vacuum control power wire through the cab as well. And we went all through under here. We made it really easy pulling the rubber trim back, and we were able to get it all through here and there. We're gonna mount the control switch right here on this box. We want to have easy access to it. For the ground wire, we're actually going to steal this ground right here. It's perfect. It's right where I'm going to locate the box as well, and where I'm feeding all the other wire through there. So it's a perfect spot to have the ground. I took a wire wheel and fitted it down to bare metal for a good solid ground connection. I got all the cables cut and stripped to the length it has to be, and I'm actually gonna insert them all in these slots and then mount it on here on this plastic part right here. So the vacuum switch, again, these two wires here, you can go on both remotes, remote 2 and 1, and then your other remote wire coming from the old fuel pump module is going to be this one here. This is the one I ran it along with the fuel pump wires, and this one here is going to go with this one here, and I'm gonna have this one on the other remote. I'm gonna have both reds together so it makes it easier. This here is the end product. All the motors are plugged in, ground is hooked up. 2 remotes. For remote 1, it's gonna be for the switch, then the one running to the old module. For remote 2, this is also for the switch, and then you got the main power wire. Now with the fuel filter, we ran the hose through here behind where the bracket is. We ran it here. We're gonna mount the fuel filter here on the outside of the chassis, and from here we're gonna run it back up into the engine bay. Both our fuel regulators, return and feed, we mount it here on the brake fluid reservoir bracket. Drilled 4 holes, a bolt and a nut. Gauges, I'm going to use thread sealant on both of these as well. I actually had the gauges hooked up wrong. I want the gauges hooked up on the sides here, not on the vacuum side. We have all the lines cut now in length, but we have nothing mounted yet. Because now for the rear crossover, I'm gonna be taking the supercharger off. I already have the coolant drain, the hose unplugged, the whole supercharger's coming off. I don't know how you guys are gonna do it, because the rear crossover is all the way back there. I don't know how you're supposed to get to that, but we're also doing injectors on this F-150. So supercharger has to come off to get to those injectors. Once you got the supercharger out, this here is the fuel line that you will be replacing. You're gonna want to remove the old nipples and screw on the provided ones along with the new fuel line. But we're also replacing these injectors down here, which makes it really easy that we have the supercharger alone. So we moved the blocker that was originally up in the front to block this hole here where it used to get the fuel from. So we blocked this one, and then we added what Fore Innovations provided for us. So this is what we did. We got that all tightened up. Got some thread sealant in there. Got all the injectors done. Tightened down. Got that blocked off. Got both of these fittings on here. Tightened down. We angled them a little bit up, so we clear everything that's underneath. Same as on this side here. Got that facing up to clear on this side here. Thread sealing over here. Everything tightened down. Got the new fuel line all snug. And I think we're ready to throw it back in there. Then for the vacuum, I'm going to use the supercharger manifold. There was a plug on this side. We removed that. We're going to run both our vacuums off here, the vacuum switch, and then the return on the fuel regulator from this nipple here. I'm going to run both the vacuums off this vibrant manifold here from Summit Racing. You can hook up a lot more vacuums in the future. So we actually went ahead and replaced a nipple with one of these male straight touch fittings, so we can easily run the vacuum. Just push it on. We're going to run the vacuum through the vacuum manifold, which we're going to have zip tied right here. This is how we have it routed. Return is the one with the nipple. We already got the vacuums all hooked up. We actually went ahead and screwed it to this brake plate here. The main vacuum, we went and got these adapters at Ace Hardware, I believe it was. So this one screws in. It's a little nipple, and then the other one screws on top of that one, which is one of those push-in vacuum lines, similar to the one here. You just push in, and then to release them, you just push the tab down, and they pop right out. And to put them back on, just push in. This is how we have the T-block set up. You got both 90 degrees here on this side, and put some thread sealant on there, as well as on this one here. So they provided you with a little clip here. So this here will go on the high pressure fuel pump, if I can focus it here. So the clip will slide in from one of the sides. It only slides in from one side. This one here would fits directly on here. It just, so this slides in here like that. And
one of the lines, I have to double check again, one of the lines is going to be connected with the fuel filter, the one coming from the fuel filter, and then the other one is going to be running to the other fuel regulator over there. The one from the fuel filter goes to the middle here. I already got that hooked up. Now this one here will nicely slide on back here, like so. Gotta zip tie this all nice up at the end. Now from this one here back to the regulator, the top one. I'm gonna use a 90 here. I'm gonna have it something like this so it can nicely swing out and back over there. Double check everything's hooked up and connected. All the vacuum, all the fuel lines, everything. Then you want to hook up your battery, turn the key to ignition on, let the fuel run a little bit, make sure you got no leaks, nothing. And then you want to go over here, use an Allen key, but remove this, I think 13mm it was, bolt here, and adjust the pressure gauges to what they need to be. Everything's hooked up right now. I have the key on. You can see the coolant water pump for the superchargers running. So feed is going to be around 58, and return is going to be around 43. Make sure back here is all good. Go ahead, feel all the lines. See if you feel anything, especially back here in the supercharger. There's one you won't be able to see, so you have to reach back there to feel it. Looks all good. You can hear there's pressure. And I think we're ready to go ahead and start it up. We already got the tune on there. We got a little plug-in tune, a little bass tune, and this thing's gonna head to the dyno later this weekend. It's gonna make around 1,000 horsepower with all the mods done to it. Smaller pulley, injectors, fuel, headers, etc.